Welcome to the Yara webinar discussing the latest in foliar nutrition for maintaining optimum turf. My name is Neil Mayberry and I am the Turf and Ornamental Crop Manager for Yara. And today I will be discussing the advantages of foliar nutrition, the qualities of a well formulated product, and introducing the new YaraVita OptimumTurf products. And then we'll wrap up with a quick overview of the OptimumTurf solution. So before we start diving into information about the benefits of foliar nutrition, first of all, I'd like to discuss, the whole purpose or the background information of foliar nutrition. First of all, it dates way back. This foliar nutrition is nothing new. However, it has improved over the years with technologies, adding co-formulants, adding certain nutrients to create synergies. So, I believe where it really began at, where it really started at, was probably in ag, and then as time went on, golf adopted it as well. It's huge for spoon feeding on greens, and also it's become more popular as of late to foliar apply nutrition on fairways, and also in sports turf. Foliar nutrition has really gained some ground and is a lot more common than what it has been in the past. And then lawn care as well. A lot more lawn care managers are using foliar nutrition to supplement nitrogen and also to supply the right nutrients at the right time. But I will mention this also has a great fit in sod production. Uh, First to correct any type of nutrient deficiency, but also around harvest time, guys may want to go out and apply the right nutrients at the right time to help build tensile strength for sod. And tensile strength, as we know, is huge for times around when we have to cut the sod, and then also on the end user sod when they're actually laying the sod to keep it together. So to supply nutrients to the plant, first we'll discuss that there are three methods that typically are known to supply nutrients to plant. First being foliar, and then soil applications, and also through natural process from the environment. But typically the environment is incapable of producing enough nutrients to sustain highly maintained turf, especially in areas where clippings are removed. It's important to note here that as clippings are removed, so are nutrients. So therefore, in order to sustain health, we're definitely going to have to come back with some type of application, whether it's a foliar application or a soil applied application. But I will say the soil applied nutrients are probably the most well known and used application out there in many regards. But it is probably a little bit easier and less costly than foliar nutrition, but I can say that these nutrients are not really delivered in the most efficient manner at times, depending on what you're dealing with and the application uh, method that you're utilizing. There are some inconsistencies with the product composition and size. Size meaning the SGN, the overall size. A bigger prill may not come in contact with as many plants, but a smaller prill also has limitations. Even though it may come in contact with more plants, it may be harder to spread. It can be drastically affected by wind speed and other variables as well. But then the product composition, what I'm really talking about here is either a blended product versus a homogeneous product. Homogeneous product meaning all the nutrients on one prill, which is extremely important for, especially in turf, for all the roots being able to come in contact with all the nutrients at one given time. But nutrient coverage, I will have to say, in densely grown turf is extremely important for overall health and consistency, and especially in the playability aspects of golf courses. But then when you talk about lawn care and athletic fields and stuff like that, recuperative potential and aesthetics are extremely important in those segments. But I will mention other factors to point out, such as application equipment, most importantly the calibration of application equipment, and then operating training has a big effect on the efficiency of soil applied products, and these things must really be taken in consideration when comparing this to foliar nutrition. Granular applications will usually consist of, first applying granule or prill. We do prefer homogeneous prill over blend again, because the blend will be subject to segregation and also be subject to poor spreadability at times. It could be misperceived that blends might be cheaper in cost, but that's not always the case. If you have ability to buy a homogeneous product and be able to apply that, you're definitely going to have a lot better efficiency versus a blend. Not to say blends are bad; they do have their advantages and they do have a fit in the market. Well, once we apply this prill to the surface, like illustrated here, it's important to understand that it does take moisture to solubilize these particles, and water should be applied directly after the application takes place to avoid any type of phytotoxicity that may take place. Remember that these most soluble products are high in salt, so it's important to understand that they do have a capability of burning. That doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that's the composition of most fertilizers. But a good thing here is that most turf situations already have irrigation. And so it's typically easy to apply, then water in, and then get that particle down into the soil solution as quickly as possible. So also, it's important to understand that the soil applied fertilizers are meant for root uptake. That could be something that we don't realize, but that's what it's meant to be. It's meant for root uptake. This process, as we know, has been around for many years, and it has been proven to be effective. But something to mention that's extremely important here is that the soil poses many factors that contributes to variability, and that means that it may hinder the ability for the plant to absorb the nutrients that were applied and meant to be root absorbed. There's a lot of variabilities in soils, and all soils aren't the same, and we'll get into a little bit more about that later in this presentation. So foliar applied products that are fully formulated allow for precise coverage and uptake for the plant, and they have the capability of reducing waste because you're only supplying what the plant needs at that time to sustain health. But also it comes with the ability to maximize and also to control the amount of growth that's being released within that plant. If you only give it just what it needs, then you're not going to get excessive growth like you would a soil applied nitrogen. As you can see with this illustration here, that it's important for the leaf to get full coverage. If everything comes in contact with the nutrients, then you have a good opportunity to have close to 100% of what you applied going into that plant. So a true foliar, there's a difference between a solubilized product and a true foliar product. A true foliar product consists of many tiny particles, and this is to maximize the coverage and uptake. So the more surface area coverage along the leaf helps maximize entry through the leaf cuticle, and also helps maximize the uptake and utilization by the plant. So foliar nutrition, when supplied by a fully formulated product that are enhanced with all the co-formulants that are typically placed in a true foliar product, it will maximize, has a tendency to maximize leaf contact and also enable more opportunity for the leaf tissue to absorb those certain nutrients that you intend for it to absorb. So foliar nutrition as we mentioned, already went through a few things, but most importantly, it serves as an effective way to supply the nutrients to highly maintained turf systems, and also has many attributes associated with that method that I think you will find beneficial as we continue to discuss this. So spoon-fed nutrients, they allow the managers to supply exactly what that plant needs and when it needs it, which is important for preventing waste. So spoon feeding also allows the managers to adjust nutritional programs and adjust them based on the specific plant demands at that given time. So this is critical in turf. Turf changes a lot through the seasons, and it's important to be able to match that growth potential and give it exactly what it needs depending on that plant's exact needs. So foliar nutrition also allows you to quickly address deficiencies and also ensure a balanced approach. It's also, it's so critical. We could have a whole nother conversation on the balanced approach and how important a balanced nutrition is. But this is really to ensure that there are no limiting factors that could potentially limit the plant's ability to recover, mostly in part from abiotic stress or biotic stress, in which these are really common in turf. When you talk about turf and talk about how much traffic is typically placed on it, the low height of cut, and all these other different variables, not even including the weather extremes. But there's a lot of stress commonly placed on turf. It's more so probably in sports and golf than lawn care, but they're just depending on what's actually happening on that specific site. But then it also foliar nutrition allows you to add nutrients to tank mixes with also the plant protectants. So this will directly help you reduce labor costs and proves to be extremely beneficial for limiting traffic and preventing excess mechanical wear from the spray equipment. So if you're driving over back and forth, doing separate applications with a spreader, putting out soil applied applications, and then coming back with plant protectant, and that's excess traffic that you could avoid if you all had it in a spray solution. So liquid products are, I will say they're easier to handle in most cases, and that's mostly due to the packaging size and also ability and combine the products. A lot of times, you don't get the dust from some of the dry products, and you don't have the hassle of melting the dry products down if you're trying to put it in spray solution, or, carrying around these heavy bags to fill up a hopper. So it definitely comes with convenience. So, like we mentioned briefly before, it's also ideal for preventing excess growth. And this is due to by only supplying what that plant needs at a given time. We know excess growth is limited, and that's due to not oversupplying nitrogen. You put down a half a pound or a pound of nitrogen at one time, that plant's going to absorb all it can take in probably at that given point in time, unless there's other variables hindering that uptake potential. But then it's there. It's going to continue to feed like that for a few weeks, which in some cases it may not be a bad thing. It may be exactly what the plant needs. But with foliar nutrition, especially on greens, it's critical not to have that surge of growth. It's critical for it to be precise and pristine and have the proper ball roll to make all the members and customers extremely happy. So overall here, what I'd like to hit home with on this slide here is that foliar nutrition allows for the application of the right nutrients at the right time and at the right amounts, as long as the spray equipment is properly calibrated and also used correctly. So anytime we can give the plant exactly what it needs to fit any of these growth stages and supply that balanced nutrition, it's going to be to our advantage. And by foliar applying products, I think we have a step up. Like I mentioned briefly, it's not a all solution. You do still have a fit for soil applied products, and we must note that, because you probably could get away with all foliar applied products, but it's probably not the best thing in all situations. It's definitely good to use soil applied products for base applications, and to fix larger problems in the soil that may be persisting. So, as we briefly mentioned before, the soil variability. The soil is extremely complex due to many factors, but foliar applications will bypass these inconsistencies in uptake by applying that nutrients directly to that leaf surface for immediate uptake and utilization, and without all the issues that may restrict the nutrient availability within the soil. So what does it take to have a great soil environment for enhancing the potential for nutrients to be uptaken by the plant? We'll take a moment to discuss what makes up a good soil environment and what it looks like, and some of the other variables that may continue to restrict nutrient availability. But it's really starts in the soil, and the soil is complex, and every situation is going to be different. There's probably not going to be two similar situations. You got to take soil tests. You have to understand what's going on underneath the surface in order to make good nutrient decisions. So the main thing, the first thing, is well aerated soils. Hence the reason why we aerify, and probably do it more on golf greens, because that's where most of the traffic is going to be, and that's where it's more critical to sustain nutrition and a balanced approach, because we're putting a tremendous amount of stress there. But the soils must be well aerated, and this is meaning not compacted, obviously, and allows for a balance of both carbon dioxide and oxygen. This will greatly enhance availability of nutrients by the plant. This is because it helps microbes convert nutrients to usable forms, and it helps the roots uptake the nutrients. And you need a balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide to complete certain plant physiological processes to enhance the root health, overall root health. Without roots, you can't absorb nutrients, so it's important there. Also, the adequate amount of plant available water. So this is necessary to ensure, number one, the solubility of nutrients, and number two, the ability to be absorbed into the plant through the roots. Okay, as transpiration happening, it helps draw some of the nutrients into the roots and throughout the plant. But excessive moisture will greatly reduce nutrient availability. Saturated situation is not good in any regard at all, and this, if you have that situation, is definitely important to quickly address that. So this goes hand in hand to having adequate drainage. You have to, in order to maintain really nice turf grass, especially in a athletic field setting or somewhere where you're going to be playing sports or golf. Even the lawn, it's really good to have adequate drainage, because you get back-to-back rains and you don't have good drainage. Plant is going to be starved of oxygen, and it's going to create a bad situation in the soil as well. So the excessive volumetric water content, there's tools that you can test and see exactly what you're at. So make sure that irrigation systems are dialed in correctly, and you're not over watering. Watering after it just rains always not a good idea, and this could prevent nutrient uptake, and also greatly enhances root dieback, which again, without roots, it's hard to absorb nutrients through the soil. So turf grass, you see the little chart here, the pH chart. Turf grass usually does best in a pH that is slightly acid to neutral. On average, probably 6 to 7. Some may argue it's probably closer to that 5.5 to 6.5, just depending on the situation, the turf grass species you're growing, and a whole array of other variables. But that's typical. If you see the red line with just circled here, this is probably the desired range for most turf grass species. So at this range, as long as there is adequate nutrients in the soil and there's not individual nutrients causing other nutrients to precipitate out, then there should be an adequate supply of nutrients here to sustaining adequate plant health. But of course, until those are depleted, you're removing clippings constantly, and we're growing turf in a highly maintained environment, so it is going to be important to make sure we're resupplying the nutrients as they become depleted in the soil. So a good soil, as far as the soil composition, typically is made up of 50% solids, 25% air, and 25% water, with a variable of probably 2 to 5% organic material in there too. Is probably good for soil structure. But after talking about these things that we desire, also I'll talk about a few more variables here. So soil structure, this is really talking about the ability to have good aggregation. Example here, a soil with poor aggregation. Some people could use example of clay that may have, in certain situations, may have poor aggregation and prevent water from draining as easily, but it also may tie up nutrients. It does have ability to hold nutrients better than a sand, but it may tie them up extremely tight and not allow them to be available to the plant. But sand, as we know, you're going to have a lot more pore space there as far as allowing air movement. Also going to have water moving quickly through the sand, and if water moves quickly through the sand, you're probably going to have nutrients move quickly through the sand as well. So in a sand-based situation, maybe a situation where you have to apply more nutrients at more consistent time intervals. So then you have the cation exchange capacity. What this means really is the ability for cations such as calcium, magnesium, and potassium, those the common ones that the plant needs, to be held within these exchange sites. So if you have a really low cation exchange capacity, then the ability for you to hold nutrients is going to be less. Hence, a sand-based situation is probably typically you're going to have a lower CEC versus a clay. But it's also important to make sure that we have the right balance of nutrients on those exchange sites, and you definitely do not want sodium or other toxic ions to be dominating those exchange sites. So nutrient balances also is a problem. If you have too much of one nutrient, it could definitely tie up certain key nutrients, or maybe even cause a situation of precipitation, meaning unavailable forms created in that nutrient, and it can't be absorbed by the root. So then root mass again. So nutrients in the soil must be absorbed by the root. Okay. If other factors, abiotic, biotic stress is affecting that root growth, or nematodes, matter of fact, then it's going to be hard for that nutrient to be uptake from the soil solution. So I will mention too that to keep in mind here on turf, typically it's a lot different than ag. Ag crops are probably going to have a lot longer roots. In turf, it's common to have roots typically on a regular basis that are less than 5 inches, and most of these fibrous, white, really nutrient absorbing roots are going to be in that 1 to 2 inches within that profile. And a lot of times on a golf green, it's within a ½ inch. So you're not giving the roots the ability to absorb a lot of nutrients through soil applications. And I will note as well that phosphorus is extremely immobile in the soil, and so that's why phosphorus foliar applications are extremely important. Typically, phosphorus is only able to be absorbed a maximum distance of 2 millimeters from the root. So if it's not tied up in the soil and it's a soil solution, if it's not in direct contact with that root, it's going to have a difficult time being utilized by that plant. And then there's soil temperatures. These soil temperatures, if it's cooler, then it's definitely going to restrict availability for the plant to uptake nutrients. So this is a good example of why foliar nutrition may be ideal around the spring or fall months when the soil temperatures start to decline a little bit. This is probably going to be a great time to, and advantageous time to apply a foliar product. So as you can see here, this is only a brief example of the variables that may affect nutrient availability, but certainly there are more, and it would definitely take more time than what we have today to discuss all these different variables. But I will say these variables should be corrected if possible, if it's reasonable to be able to do it. But remember that plant health is critical, and especially on a high maintained turf situation, especially on at a golf course or athletic field or some place that you're going to be judged by your clientele. Mistakes and misjudgments may not be excusable. So foliar nutrition is a good area to start at, and make sure it's dialed in properly to ensure that the plant's getting exactly what it needs to ensure for optimum turf. So we're going to take a few minutes here to discuss the many advantages of a fully formulated product versus products that aren't. There's some products, like we mentioned before, that don't have co-formulates in it. So even though products may be considered foliar, it's important that some have co-formulates in it, some don't. Some are basically just solubilized salts in a container, which those can serve a purpose. They're probably going to be a lot less expensive, but a lot less effective. But it's important to understand that there are differences here, and that we must analyze that before we choose certain products to put on our turf. The OptimumTurf YaraVita formulations are manufactured with the highest quality standards possible. And this is to ensure the products are produced for enhancing plant uptake efficiency. This is done by supplying the correct particle sizing and formulation for enhancing the mixability, crop safety, at the highest concentrations possible. These products are fully formulated and are designed for maximum turf health and to increase the nutrient efficiency, but plus they are formulated and tested to mix with all the common crop protectant products that are typically applied in turf. So therefore this helps save time and effort, and they also offer a high analysis to supply large amount of nutrients at low rates. So they also are enhanced with adjuvants, co-formulates for further enhancing product stability, and then the ability for the plant to utilize it more effectively. But they also have, all these products really consist of food grade and or pharmaceutical grade materials, which are extremely important for ensuring that no unwanted substances are provided in that chemical formulation. So when we mention food grade and pharmaceutical grade materials, here only the highest quality raw materials are used to manufacture the OptimumTurf YaraVita True Foliar products. As you can see here, these two products are used as example here. The differences are quite clear as you compare to normal fertilizer grade phosphoric acid, which is the one on the left, compared to what YaraVita uses to formulate the YaraVita products. The green color here is used as example to show what chromium contamination looks like, and it's important to know just with this if it's accumulated enough in the plant tissue, there could be some detrimental effects within the stem, leaf, and root growth of turfgrass. And also, you notice the sediment at the bottom of the jar. This is another example of issues that are common in non-food or pharmaceutical grade ingredients. So here on the right side, the phosphoric acid that's used to manufacture YaraVita products, you can see that's clear and does not have any contaminants or particles settling out at the bottom of the jar. This product is also an example of a phosphoric acid grade that's typically known in common food products. One I'll use as an example is Coca-Cola, which is quite well known. So it's important when you're dealing with food grade not to have any other contamination, especially in different unwanted heavy metals, which could cause a lot of issues. So therefore, you definitely don't want it in your crop or your turf grass either, because it could, if you use the same product over and over and over and it's contaminated, it could build up within that leaf tissue. So particle size and properties are also extremely important. Number one, for ensuring even coverage and consistent uptake, but number two, preventing and clogging, prevention of clogging the spray equipment. Particle sizing isn't correct, and there's issues with placing particles in solution, and there's definitely could be some issues with sprayer equipment. But particle size are always evaluated on a micron scale and are precisely selected to meet certain specifications for maximizing uptake. Also, it is important to note that the difference between hydrophobic versus what it means to be hydrophilic. These particles are, hydrophobic, hydrophilic greatly relate to how they contribute to the solubility of the product. Obviously, hydrophobic particles will repel water and resist the potential to go in a solution. So a great deal of effort goes into selecting the best raw materials for ensuring that, of course, the products go into solution are less likely to settle out in the bottom of the container. I know pretty much anybody who's been in the business for a long period of time and have done foliar nutrition in the past, you've probably witnessed settling out in the bottom of the jug, and sometimes it can be very difficult to get that back into solution. The YaraVita products are enhanced with thickening agents, and they're used to prevent those particles from settling out in the bottom of the container, and so therefore it enhances the overall shelf life of all these products. So we know gravity has a way of causing products to have material settle out the bottom of the containers, and oftentimes are difficult to place back in that solution. And like I just mentioned, that even with shaking, sometimes that can be very difficult. So rinsing containers and dealing with poorly formulated products, that poses a waste of time and can potentially cause clogging that spray equipment. So thickening agents, greatly enhance the ability from preventing all these detrimental things as settling out in the bottom of the container or clogging spray equipment from happening. So another great feature of YaraVita foliar products are due to the fact that they are formulated with complexing agents for mixability. The two liquids here are ammonium polyphosphate in both beakers on this illustration. But the difference is that one on the left, it was mixed with a manganese combined with a complexing agent. And that was done for mixability, obviously. But notice the one on the right had manganese sulfate added to that mixture. And as you see, after a slight little bit of mixing, you can start seeing precipitation occurring. And this will greatly contribute to coagulation, and like we talked about before, can cause some major issues in the spray equipment. But after you continue to mix here, you can greatly see what's formed here, the precipitants that have formed, and it's due to incompatibility. So this can cause a lot of problems, and it can cause a lot of product waste if you are using products that aren't mixable with certain products, and of course ultimately this wastes a lot of time and money. So wetting agents are also used, and they're important to help break that surface tension that is present along the surface of the leaf. So the leaf tissue, to understand what's going on here, the leaf tissue is waxy and it tends to repel liquid substances. So it makes it, like when you spray, it makes all the moisture on the leaf, and makes it contract into concentrated droplets. So this will limit the uptake potential and could potentially cause phytotoxicity, whereas products formulated with wetting agents have the ability to enhance other products, which is a benefit, and it also allows for more surface to come in contact with the nutrient that you're desiring to have uptaken by that plant. It also allows for quicker drying while enhancing the effects of added stickers, which is important to keep that nutrient on that leaf for a longer period of time. So the quicker it dries, the more enhancement it has for those added stickers as well. So all the products, like we mentioned in the previous slide, are enhanced with wetting agents to maximize nutrient coverage and allow for optimal uptake on all individual turfgrass plants per given area, which in a turf situation, 1 square feet could equal 900 plus individual plants, which that's a lot of plants for one small area. So coverage is critical here. This example on the right here, the actual dispersion of the leaf, and clearly allows for more opportunity to enter the plant and prevents concentration in a small area due to the repelling of the waxy natural substance on the leaf. So you can see here on the top that was obviously enhanced with a wetting agent. You can clearly see that it's covering that leaf material a lot more consistently. So there's many attributes to uniformly improved nutrient uptake as well, but also an improved crop safety are few of just many of the attributes of having wetting agents in the product and having more contact area. And you see here, compared to the poor coverage product that typically would not have wetting agent, this is what it would look like. But I'd have to question here, would you want sunblock to be applied to your skin like this? You definitely would not get good protection. So same here too. You got these concentrated areas. You could have phytotoxicity because you got so many nutrients concentrated in a certain area. And remember, nutrients have a salt index, and they can typically burn if not applied right and not enhanced with these wetting agents. Another cool feature is the exhaustion agents. They're used and tested in the products to ensure maximum uptake by the plant. In turf, it is definitely critical to ensure product nutrients are absorbed as quickly as possible and not wasted by other causes such as irrigation practices, rain, environmental conditions, mowing, especially during clipping removal. So you definitely want as much uptake as possible. And of course, traffic can hinder the efficiency of nutrient uptake. So exhaustion agents are critical for ensuring that nutrient and nutrients get into the plant as quickly as possible. Product safety is also something that we do not take lightly here at Yara. We put a lot of great effort into ensuring that all YaraVita products are tested extensively to ensure for plant safety and to ensure compatibility with most commonly used products. As you can see here, radishes are used primarily due to their sensitivity to chemicals and to discover what the maximum rates for formulations should be. Turfgrass, use turfgrass that is under high stress conditions. This is a good example because turf grass that's under high stress conditions could be very sensitive to certain nutrient combos, and safety. Safety must always be considered during any product development and also during application procedures by the end user. So that's something definitely worth considering for every application. Now I'll take a moment to give a brief overview of the fully formulated products that are in the OptimumTurf YaraVita portfolio. The YaraVita OptimumTurf liquids consist of a full range of products from covering almost all of the turfgrass nutrient demands. This portfolio you can see here is designed for addressing many issues and formulating solutions for an array of end users that is managing just about every turf situation. As you can see here, with these 8 products, you can cover pretty much any nutrient issue that a turfgrass situation may need. So we'll start with the YaraVita Renew. This is one of 8 products. It's a highly formulated potassium product. As you can see, it's 34% potassium provided in the form of potassium formate, which is highly soluble formulation. It's perfect for many applications, many turfgrass applications, but it's also formulated for safe application, mixable with many other commonly used products. The benefits here is it assists with enhancing water regulation in the plant and means increasing turgor pressure within the cells for preventing desiccation around those critical stress periods that we've talked a lot about during this presentation. And these stress periods, whether or not this stress is caused by environmental, mechanical factors, it's important to ensure that the plant can overcome these issues where it may be under high stress. Then we have the YaraVita Guard. This helps the plant overcome many stresses with supplying efficient solution of phosphorus and manganese in a readily available form. This is for maximized nitrogen utilization and root elongation, but also assisting with chlorophyll synthesis. Also great, this product is also great with offsetting biological effects placed on the plant. It's one of the main attributes is it can be applied at low use rates and is mixable with many commonly used products that are out there in the market. The YaraVita Synthesize, this is a balanced combination of zinc and phosphorus. Zinc, I will have to say, is probably an underutilized nutrient that is important for driving root growth and for the activation of many plant growth hormones such as auxins that are critical for cell elongation at growing points. One major growing point I'd like to point out is the crown area. This is applied at low rates. It can be done during spoon feeding applications for maximum root health. This on the right side, as you can see right here on the bottom right side, this was a demonstration conducted on a Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass green. It was done during the middle of summer at low rates, and it was done over 4 to 5 weeks, and we witnessed enhanced root elongation versus the grower standard applications. And again, this was done over a short period of time, and during that short period of time, just giving the plant exactly the portions of zinc and phosphorus it needed, it was able to stimulate a lot of root growth. YaraVita Activate is a magnesium-based product. As you can see here, the picture to the bottom right, as you can see, magnesium is a nutrient that is the center of the chlorophyll molecule, which is important in making the plant green and enhancing photosynthesis. But it has also a lot more important functions as well, such as the transportation and utilization of phosphorus. But at 20% magnesium, this product supplies a lot of magnesium per gallon of product and is important for many activation properties of enzymes within the plant. Now mentioning YaraVita Roots. As you would imagine, a product called YaraVita Roots would definitely be important to drive roots, hence the name. It provides a synergistic combo for driving roots and providing the turf the fuel it needs to overcome extreme stress periods. This combo does provide phosphorus for maximizing ATP production and transferring energy, while the magnesium assists for the movement and utilization of the phosphorus. And then there is also potassium that's combined in this product that aids in the water regulation and carbohydrate transportation within the plant. But it also has an advantage to use this product ahead of the stress period, so to prime the plant for upcoming environmental extremes. It could be cultivation practices or tournaments that you may know that is going to place a significant amount of stress on the plant. So therefore, you go out ahead of that and lightly apply this product to help prime that plant and get it ready. Or it could be on the reverse side of it to help it recover from some of these stressful events. So the photograph here you see to the bottom right clearly illustrates a study that was done on after an aerification process. If you notice the two treatments that are circled in red here, each had stimulated root growth due to addition of the YaraVita roots, and it did this only at rates of 1 to 1.5 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet. So with the addition of the YaraVita roots, we did witness some root stimulation. And this, like I said before, this was done around aerification. So it was done during a stressful event, and we did see some results in the root growth by the addition of this product. So YaraVita Maintain. So this is a very flexible product that allows for a balanced approach at low rates to provide both some macro and micronutrients that will greatly meet the plant's needs at critical growth stages. So at the low use rate, this product is used to strengthen the plant by maximizing nutrient utilization and building carbohydrates for maximizing the plant health during the times when the plant is either at its maximum growth potential or when nutrients become less available during the cooler periods. YaraVita Pristine Green is a unique chelated iron product, and it's unique because it's due to its effectiveness to stay in a soluble form for a longer period of time while under a wide range of pH variances. So it's chelated in the form of iron, EDDHA, and the EDDHA consists of ortho to ortho isomers, meaning it completes a chain around the iron molecule for sustaining uptake while remaining in available form for longer periods of time. This product use rates start off at 1/4 fluid ounce per 1,000 square feet and is safe to apply with many of the commonly used products out on the market. And it also has benefits because it has iron, it has benefits for enhancing chlorophyll production, for maintaining a pristine green appearance on turf, hence the name, pristine green. Chlorophyll production is critical for photosynthesis, and this product is wonderful in all situations, but it is great in situations where nutrient management programs may tend to be more on the lean side for playability standards. So it's important to be able to enhance the chlorophyll production because, again, it's important for making the photosynthesis process happen a little bit more efficiently. YaraVita Safe In. At a 25% nitrogen content, YaraVita Safe In serves as a great product to mix into sprayers for supplying an efficient, safe, and slowly released source of nitrogen that is designed to consistently feed without having significant growth peaks and valleys after the application. This is turf we're dealing with, so we definitely don't want a surge of growth that makes the turf grow out of control. And we start getting scalping and we lose playability standards. There's all kinds of different things that may happen, and definitely we don't want excess thatch being created from excess nitrogen amounts. So this Safe In allows you to apply a slow release product and dial it into the rates that we need for an effective and efficient release. So all the YaraVita products provide a solution for pretty much any turf segment, and it can be combined together for producing synergies that, any turf manager is going to want for maximizing plant health, and in the end, saving time and money and creating the most return on investment possible. So as we mentioned previously, these products provide many attributes for producing quality turf, and they're flexible to address many of the nutrient deficiencies, and they certainly are able to be combined for producing a balanced approach. Nutrient management can be complicated at times, and a soil and tissue analysis, should always be the basis of any nutrient program. Before we start any nutrient program, it's important to understand what's going on in the plant and what's going on in the soil. But remember that the soil test can be misleading at times, and this is due to the multitude of soil variability issues that may persist. So it's important to take a holistic view at your soil and to understand all the variables and how they can affect nutrient uptake by the root. So not to say, I will mention again, not to say that granular application should not be considered, because I think a granular application should always be the base of any fertility program in most situations. A granular application or dry application or soil applied application, whatever you refer to it as, are meant to address larger issues in the soil and also to supply adequate amounts of nitrogen. Sometimes it's difficult to supply the nitrogen load that we may be desiring for that plant through foliar nutrition, or it may not be economically reasonable to do it in that fashion. But foliar programs should be utilized to quickly address any nutrient deficiencies and also for spoon feeding practices, and to be more efficient with the nutrient delivery. But also remember, in order to save time and effort, a nutritional product should always be considered anytime a piece of spray equipment leaves that maintenance facility to go out onto the course to spray plant protectants, especially, or growth regulators. Definitely where it makes sense, there should be some type of nutrient product combined with that formulation. So to use the turf calculator, if you go to Yara.us, search crop nutrition and go under the turf solution, or if you follow this address exactly, you can come to the OptimumTurf calculator. And what this is designed to do is to help you build programs. We got the liquids listed here on the left. As you can see, for example, if we wanted to figure out how much nitrogen potassium we would get by applying 1.5 ounces of Renew per 1,000 square feet, you can clearly see here, for example, give you 0.04845 pounds of potassium per 1,000 square feet. But if you wanted to combine products, you can do that too. So you can figure out what it would give you if you did 1/2 ounce of YaraVita roots. As you can see here, it shows exactly what you would get from that single product per pound of each nutrient that's in the product formulation. But then it also totals each product up and combines them. So as you can see here, this is what the output would be if you combined YaraVita Renew and YaraVita roots at these respective rates. Let's now take a few minutes to discuss the OptimumTurf solution and how YaraVita fits into the overall solution. So what is the OptimumTurf solution? The OptimumTurf solution consists of combining knowledge, products, tools with market access to provide the customers with the knowledge and the tools for them to have the right nutrition to the turf in an efficient way without waste, and ultimately to enhance return on investment in the end. The solution will always be evolving, and that's critical to note for the different customers, region, and segments to help provide, in the end, what we all desire is the OptimumTurf. So the combined knowledge and everything together, tools, this is what the OptimumTurf solution consists of. So this slide provides a brief overview of the OptimumTurf solution. As you may have imagined, The base of the solution are the products. We do have a full line of homogeneous granular products, and then we have the YaraVita liquids for addressing all of the turf needs in a efficient manner through foliar nutrition. But additionally, the OptimumTurf consists of other things, such as knowledge, like we're doing today. We do provide knowledge through workshops, through webinars, through training modules, through podcasts, through Twitter, through newsletters, through the website, which you can reach at www.yara.us. I do recommend everybody taking a look at that. There's a good opportunity to see what the latest podcasts are, to view the latest newsletter. We do have other videos available there. You got product information. You got a whole array of different information to help you really dial in your nutritional program at your facility. But then we do have the solution also consists of other marketing content, sell sheets, product data sheets of such. But additionally, we do offer tools and then apps such as Tank Mix It. You can easily download this. This is for allowing end users to determine if certain products are mixable. Now, taking consideration, it has not combined everything. So if there's something not on there, you can also use that app to request a tank mix, and they will definitely check it and get back with you fairly quickly. Also, MegaLab, this is an internal lab within Yara for interpreting soil and tissue reports, for mostly providing detailed information to the end user. It does come with recommendations, so it tells you about what the nutrient and what it does and what it will do if you supply it in an efficient manner. And it also tells you what happens if you have too much of a certain nutrient, what it could do, such as hindering other nutrients or maybe even potentially causing toxicity in some cases. And then we have the OptimumTurf calculator, which we have already discussed, and that's going to be a good tool that's beneficial to use when building programs, really trying to dial in nutrient needs. And you can take that tool and really compare it with the most current soil and tissue analysis, and make a program that's the best fit for your certain situation. So here at Yara, what's important is we recognize a unique opportunity to reach all of the turf and ornamental segments by providing the best solutions possible. So the solution begins again with the product, the parent brands. Again, these represent product families. And if we start here with YaraVita, I give a brief description of what that means. YaraVita is the parent brand for all the calcium nitrate products. And then YaraVita represents all the urea products, including YaraVita Turf. And then YaraMila represents all the NPKs and includes Turf Royale, the 21714, that some of you may be aware of, has been in the market for some time now. And then the YaraVita, which was the main focus of this presentation, and it represents all the liquid products. And remember that these products are true foliars that are formulated with co-formulants to enhance uptake and efficiency. So it's important that we first create product awareness with all these products, but it's also critical to share product knowledge in order to build product trust through demonstrating product effectiveness through customer service and product quality. And finally, the solution adoption by combining the entire OptimumTurf solution with the tools, knowledge, products, and market access. This concludes today's webinar. I thank you for joining the Yara webinar today on foliar nutrition. I hope the information provided gives you a better understanding of the benefits of foliar applied products compared to soil applied, and helps everyone continue to have a successful growing season. For more information, please check out our website, www.yara.us, or give us a follow at OptimumTurf_YNA on Twitter, or please send me an email or give us a call. Thank you.